Hey guys, it's Luke here, and today we're taking a deep dive into the Star Wars universe with the LEGO Star Wars AT-ST Raider from the new streaming series, The Mandalorian. I am so excited for this kit, you guys have no idea. That said, today's kit is the LEGO Star Wars AT-ST Raider. Let's take a look at the box. Now, on the front, you can see an awesome picture of the walker, along with all the people fighting at the bottom of it, plus the little guy peeping out the top. We have all of our normal set information, as well as the LEGO Star Wars box art. Down here, we have our figures, the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, and our two Raiders. Now, on the back, we have another awesome picture of the walker, obviously the main thing of this set, and we also have more people fighting in the bottom. Now, right here and on the sides, we have our action features. This one is the ability to actually move the legs, which is kind of essential for a walker. The next one is being able to shoot those spring-loaded shooters. The next is to be able to rotate the head, making it so it can look wherever you want it, and you can actually fit a couple of figures in there. Now, let's get into the unboxing. So, to open the box, LEGO gives us these thumb tabs. Now, personally, I was expecting there to be tape with just the sheer size of this box. Usually they give us like little thumb tabs on battle packs or just smaller kits like that, but this one is pretty big and yet they still give us those. So, to open it, you just take your thumb, push it in there, and then it falls through and you can never get it out, but you could just kind of peel it like this, ruin your box, but the set inside is always worth it. So, inside you'll find bag of parts number 1, coming with a brick separator, a really big sticker sheet, some pretty thick instructions, bag of parts number 3, bag of parts number 4, there's bag of parts number 2, and that's it. So, let's get into the build. Now that we're finally finished, we can take a look at the set as a whole. Now down here we have all of our figures, and here is the AT-ST Raider. Now all of the things, the figures, the Raider itself, all of them are just crazy detailed, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we take a closer look right now. Taking a closer look at our AT-ST, you'll immediately notice this vibrant red leg, and that is just, the whole color scheme in general is really cool, and I like that it isn't just a plain gray AT-ST, that it has some of this brown and some of this red and just all this different stuff to make it look like it was just kind of cobbled together and it was maybe once broken and they fixed it up, and it's really cool. I love this kit. So, moving on to that red leg, you'll notice at the foot here, both of the feet are the same shape, however they both have different sticker prints, which again keeps that really cool paint scheme, and I really like how this whole thing looks. Now the prints on these stickers are insanely detailed. I really like all of the detail that they've put into the walker and the figures as well that we'll take a look at soon, and just this whole thing is insane. So we have kind of this one little toe here, these awesome stickers, and then we begin with this red leg that just kind of goes all the way up here, and you'll also notice that back here we have kind of the handle of the whip, which is representing a wire hanging out of the leg, again going with that kind of cobbled together look. And then you can see that that wire kind of comes out of this leg and then back up into here, and then more wires are just hanging out, and it looks really, really cool. I just love all of the little details that they've done with this kit. Just all of it goes together very nicely. You have some more red, and then kind of a light rust color. Obviously, or not obviously, but I'm pretty sure it's trying to represent some rust. And more of this brown mud, or maybe even more rust color. You can see we have some of those little white lines like on the legs up here, and on this little kind of chest area you've got this cable that comes up underneath from the leg and into the chest, and just everything about this kit is just very detailed and very well done, and I again really like this. And moving on to the other leg, you'll notice that it is basically the exact same as the red leg. It's just brown and kind of a little more mud colored. Now, one thing I thought was interesting is that they have like the really muddy brown foot on the red leg and the really clean foot on the brown leg. And that is not just me switching around some parts, that's how it tells you to do it in the instructions. And I just think that's kind of weird, but still pretty cool. You'll notice that this leg is much more put together, much less wires and things hanging out, or there's actually no wires hanging out. And one thing I really like that they do with the legs on the ATSTs in the past couple versions is they have these kind of tendon looking parts here that are on the ATST in Star Wars. It's just really nice to have that extra bit of detail on the vehicle as a whole. Now, moving a little higher up, you'll notice that it has this same piece here, and again, the legs are pretty much the same, just different colors and stuff. This piece is much more clean, there's less rust on there. And moving around to the back, you'll notice that it is pretty symmetrical up here. You just have these two little vents here and a cool knob. Now this knob, if you twist it to the right, the head looks to the left. And that's just done with some simple bevel gears. There's just an axle coming from this knob, hitting a bevel gear that hits another bevel gear into the head, that when you twist this, the head turns. And it is on a ratcheted turntable here, so it is kind of hard to get it going. You can see that there's a decent amount of, it's not really play, it just kind of feels like the pieces are bending a little bit inside of there before it actually begins to move. And you can be pretty precise with it since it has that ratchet, so it's pretty fun to move this around, and it makes it look like it's got a mind of its own, and it's really cool. I really like this set. Now, on the top kind of back here, you'll notice that we have all of these kind of paint roller pieces all put in here to represent more exposed wires, again going with that crazy cobbled together look. And you'll also notice that we have these stickers. Both sides are the same with these stickers, so I think they're just kind of either fuel caps or just some kind of maintenance plug or something along those lines. And then once you move up to the front, you can kind of get a better look at those white bits there. Kind of moving over here, you can see that it's also on the other side. And now we're finally at the head. Now the head was the part that I was a little bit puzzled at, because it's got these angled panels, and just the ATST has a very kind of signature head shape. So LEGO has actually done a very good job depicting that head shape, and you actually have these pieces on Technic pins, so they are able to kind of go at that perfect angle there. We also have these kind of chin mounted guns here. This side is a grenade launcher, and this side are just two blaster cannons. And just this whole ATST as a whole just looks really nice. Like, good job, LEGO. You've done a great job again. And this front cannon here, or cannons, are the kind of main cannons here, and those are mostly what you'll see shooting in like the movies or the TV show or that kind of stuff. And we also have these shields here on the kind of face of the whole ATST that in the actual Star Wars universe, if the pilots are in trouble and they need to kind of close up these windows and really like bunker down, they would normally just kind of flip those down. However, the way they have these hinged, it can't exactly do that, but it can get pretty close, and you just have to adjust them individually. They're not connected in any way. However, inside, you can use these to lift up the top. It is actually kind of hinged twice, so you can hinge it up like this, and then once it hits this point, it kind of starts its own little hinge and goes off like that. However, that just gives you more access to the interior. There's not much in there. You can see that this kind of cheek plate, or the side plate here, can kind of move around. It's only really attached by one pin, but then there is kind of a second little green piece you can see in there that's kind of keeping it from falling off. But if you're just keeping the whole walker upright, it's not really a problem at all, and usually it would be upright. So we just have room for one person, a little holder for an extra pistol that all of the characters can hold their pistols, plus you have this one inside, so this is an extra, and you also have a little console up here for the pilot. And there's only one seat, even though the in-universe ATST has two. On the back here, you'll notice that we do have these two circular pieces, again printed with very nice detail. And right under that, it's just kind of nothing there, pretty smooth, but back here is mostly just kind of the technical stuff. They didn't really like plate it off and do as much detail as the front or the sides. However, if you're kind of playing with this, you might have your hand on the back and you're kind of on the good guy side or the figure side and not really looking at the back so much. However, you'll also notice these two little buttons back here, and if you push those, they actually trigger the spring-loaded shooters like that and like that. And I really like that they kind of concealed them right inside of there, because it makes it so that it does have a really good play feature, and it's not just out in the open making the whole thing look kind of ugly. And the spring-loaded shooters are actually right next to the main cannon, so it looks like the main cannon is actually shooting when you press those buttons. Now, let's go on to the top. Taking a closer look at the top here, you'll notice that we also have this little hatch along with these two little rails. Now, a funny idea that I had while building this is I could put like a little kayak up there and like make the whole thing all cleaned up and kind of have it like a vacation ATST or something. I probably won't end up doing that, but it was just a funny idea, and I would love to see one of you guys send me a picture of that. That would be pretty funny. But up on the top, we have this little hatch here, separate from the main hatch. It just kind of flips up, and this is where Chewbacca would come out of the top in Return of the Jedi. Now, this isn't that ATST, but it is still an ATST, so it has that same hatch. And you can also fit a figure up in there. However, it does have these little hinge pieces so that the figure can just kind of, they can grab onto that. If I could get their hand to line up. There we go. So then the figure can just kind of peek out of the top and just kind of look out like a tank commander might. Now on the side, that gun falling off actually gives you a pretty good view of how it's attached. You can see that it is just attached by a circular jumper plate, and the little kind of stick inside of there just plugs into that hole. And it's a pretty sturdy connection, however they can just kind of fall off as you saw. And it also has a nice little sticker there. Now let's go on to the figures. So here are our two bad guys of the set. Now, starting with this one, you'll notice that he looks more of like the captain or the more higher ranks guy, and he has this little shoulder pauldron with the spikes on top, as well as the helmet, and he is the ATST driver, so he should be wearing a helmet. And he has two dual pistols, as well as the pistol that is actually in the ATST that he can also use maybe if he runs out of ammo or these guns overheat. Now, he has the same face print as the other guy. There is no behind the face print. It's just a normal head with a front face print. And he has a really nice jacket print as well as a nice leg print. and on the back he just has the back of his jacket. Moving on to the other bad guy, you'll notice that he kind of looks more like a grunt, or just kind of the lesser ranked person, and he just has the same head, again, no back print or back of the face print. He does have a very nice back of the jacket print, and he also has a very nice front print as well as some leg prints, and his weapon is kind of a longer rifle as well as the lightsaber hilt for the barrel. And that will do it for these figures. Let's move on to the good guys. Starting off our good guy figures, we have Cara Dune, and she has a really nice torso print with the kind of scaly armored vest, and you can see there's a few lines going across there. Pretty sure those are buckles. Whatever they are, they look really nice, and this whole figure is just a very good figure. Moving up a bit, you can see her face has a little gray dot. Now in the TV show, that is a tiny little rebel insignia printed on her face, and I thought it was pretty cool that they put that much detail into this figure to the point of having a tiny little dot on her face, and I just really like that LEGO put that much detail. Now, her hairpiece is nothing crazy, just a normal female hairpiece. However, around the side, we have no arm printing, but it is the same skin tone as her face to show that she is in fact wearing a vest. On the back, she just has the back of the vest with more of those kind of scales and more of that awesome metallic print. Our next figure is Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, aka maybe the reason why you might buy this set. Now, he is a really good figure. He has very nice front printing on his legs and his torso, and he does have the older armor from the first couple episodes rather than the Beskar armor from the episode with the AT-ST. However, I can't blame LEGO for this because maybe they didn't have the right material, and this is still a very cool figure and accurate to the first few episodes of The Mandalorian. So his helmet is right with the Beskar helmet. He does have this helmet throughout the entire show, so it looks really good. Underneath there, we just have a normal black head, because until the last couple episodes of the show, you don't really get to see what his face looks like, so we just have the black head, and I'm sure, again, LEGO did not know what his face looked like, so I think it's good that they gave him a black head instead of just putting a generic male face and getting it wrong. Now, he has no side printing. However, around the back, we do get a new cape piece, and this is made of the more rough material from the capes, and I think they didn't go with the softer one, so that you can kind of pose it and make it look like it's maybe blowing in the wind a little bit, and just make him look really epic and cool. And while we have that cape lifted up, you'll notice that he does have the back of his armor printed under there. Even though you're not going to see it with the cape, they still put it in there, and it looks really nice. With that said, let's go on to the overview. I am just as excited now as I was at the beginning of this video. In fact, I'm more excited because I have the set all built up and the figures all built up as well. So, that said, this is a fantastic kit, and there's just fantastic figures, there's tons of detail, and this is a really good kit as a whole. Now, the walker is really nice, and the build is very sturdy. I can shake it as much as I want, and it is not going to fall apart. And if you'd like to get yourself one of these, which I definitely recommend it, it's a great kit, you can use our link in the description below. It helps out the channel, and it helps out you because you have an awesome LEGO set. Now, that said, if you'd like to check out our other videos, we've got the video that YouTube recommends to you and our Star Wars playlist here. And be sure to smack that like button, click that bell so you never miss a video, and I'll see you next time on Luclear Fusion.